Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words to my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you guys are doing good out there, all my loyal subscribers and people out there in the boxing world. Big shout out to you guys. But I wanted to talk about a situation in the light heavyweight division regarding Sullivan Barrera and Dmitry Bivol, because those two guys are slated to fight on Sergey Kovalev's next undercard, which is March 3rd in at the Madison Square Garden Theater. So they'll be fighting on that card. That's going to be a big step-up fight for Bivol, and it'll be a big opportunity for Barrera to become a world champion. But in regards to that whole fight, there was a situation regarding drug testing, because the fight was in jeopardy a couple weeks ago due to the fact that Bivol was not enrolled in VADA drug testing, and Barrera had expressed concerns about that. But now those concerns have been put to rest, because Bivol did recently confirm that he is enrolled in VADA testing, and Barrera also confirmed this on Twitter by saying that pretty much, that he believes that Bivol is enrolled in VADA testing, and that his team has informed him to do so. His team is informed that Bivol is doing the VADA testing. So with that being said, man, all that aside, I want to say this, because Dmitry Bivol, one thing that's it's been agitating me a bit. I'll be honest with you, it's been agitating me a bit with Bivol. He's, from what I've seen so far, and I've had a chance to watch a couple of fights. I actually saw one of his fights live. He fought on the Ward Kovalev undercard of the rematch. He fought Cedric Agnew, who was basically a dead man walking and a walking punching bag. He didn't come to win. He didn't come to fight that night. But with Bivol, you look at his resume. He's fought, his best win by far, hands down, is Felix Valera. And Felix Valera, a good, slick fighter who, gave a spirited but losing effort against Sullivan Barrera. Not a bad fighter at all. That's his best win. And then he fought a dead Cedric Agnew, and then he won a vacant title against Trent Broadhurst. So he has the hands down the weakest resume of any of the champions. And then when you do some more research on Bivol, like, okay, he had a good amateur record. He had a really good amateur record. He had 268 wins and 15 losses. That was his record as an amateur. But then you look a little deeper, and all he really was just a domestic level amateur who was better than the guys in around his area. He was never an Olympian. He didn't represent his country in the Olympics, because Bivol is a native of, what the hell is he from? He's from Kyrgyzstan, or some random country I never heard of. Some country, I'm sure it's in Eastern Europe, Kyrgyzstan. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, so my bad if I offend anybody or I sound like an idiot right now. But he wasn't able to represent his country in the Olympics, so he doesn't have that. There's no trace of him beating anybody notable in the amateurs, as opposed to a guy like Artur Beterbiev, who was a two-time Olympian, who campaigned in the Olympics as a heavyweight. He fought the likes of Alexander Usyk, lost to him, beat Michael Hunter. Also beat he beat Michael Hunter, he beat Junior Dorticos, who's a cruiserweight, and he beat Ismail Salah and Tabasia Mchunu. So he has a good amateur background, Artur Beterbiev. He has a proven amateur background. Bivol's amateur background, from what we can gather, not the best, because there's really no recognizable names on that resume. To be honest with you, there's no recognizable name on that resume. So I'm glad that this is finalized, because I think he's very overhyped and he's very overrated. I think he's a good fighter. I think he has tons of potential, but I'm kind of, in many ways, when people talk about the light heavyweight division, and they talk about how great Dmitry Bivol is, like, the dude hasn't proven anything yet. He hasn't proven dick as a light heavyweight, and people are going to want to crown him. So I'm happy that this fight is going to have it, because he's going to be fighting a guy in Barrera, who, ever since the War fight, and ever since he hooked up with my main man Derek Santos as his trainer, he's become a much better fighter. He's become a much better fighter. He's been picking up good wins. He beat Shabransky when he was undefeated. He beat Joe Smith Jr. He beat Felix Valera. He's been picking up good wins, looking very, very solid, looking like a top level light heavyweight, and that's what we wanted to see from Sullivan Barrera. We wanted him to look like a top level light heavyweight, and he has looked as such since losing the fight. He also beat Paul Parker. So with that being said, man, Bivol has to show and prove. He's getting a lot of hype. A lot of people think he's the best light heavyweight in the world, which is crazy because I hear Bivol getting a lot of hype, but the guys that actually have extensive amateur backgrounds, some solid wins in the pros, like Biev and even more so Alexander Vazdik. These guys are not getting the kind of hype Bivol is getting from what I've been seeing. I've been seeing people just basically crowning Bivol as the next best heavyweight outside Sergey Kovalev, and and it is what it is. He's undefeated. There's a lot of uncertainty about him, but he's looked good in every fight people have seen him in the States, so I get it. But I'm glad that they got this straightened out because I want to see if he really is what they say he is. Because you look at his resume, like his resume in the pros thus far is not impressive. His amateur, who he beat in the amateurs isn't impressive. So yeah, that's what it is, man. I wanted to get this out there. Bivol did confirm that he is in VADA testing, and we're finally going to be able to find out on March 3rd if he's the goods or if he's a front runner, and that's just what it is, man. So I wanted to get that out there. I think he's going to be really up against Barrera. Barrera's going to give him a good fight. Don't know who's going to win, honestly. I haven't really thought about it too much, but it is a matchup that I am interested in seeing. So that's what it is. Just want to get my thoughts there on that because I do feel like, from my opinion, not saying that he's getting all this media coverage or anything, but when people talk about the light heavyweight division, I feel like the way people are speaking of Bivol as if he's equal to or the same as Vazdik and Biev is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous because he hasn't done what they did in the amateurs, and he doesn't have quality wins like they have in the pros. And this is not even to say that Biev or Vazdik have a whole slew of top level wins, but they have some good names on the resume. Like, for example, what's his name? Biev did recently beat Enrico Colling, who's a decent fighter. Gabriel Campillo, decent fighter. Tavares Cloud, decent fighter. He got some decent names on the resume. And then when you look at Vazdik, he did exceptionally well against Isaac Chilemba. And I think that was a high quality win for him. He did better against Chilemba than Kovalev did. And I think he's the most underrated guy in the division. Everybody keeps talking about Bivol and Biev, but nobody's talking about freaking this guy right here in Vazdik. A guy long, lanky, dangerous, powerful, Olympic experience. This is a guy who, for lack of a better word, is just not. He's not to be messed with. He's not to be messed with. He ain't here to play games. He's stopped pretty much almost anything moving in his path thus far in the pros in his 14 fights. And like I said, man, this is a guy that won a bronze medal in the Olympics, in the 2012 Olympics. Yeah, and the dude can really fight, man. The dude can really fight. So you got to put some respect on Vazdik's name. I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully him and Kovalev get it on in the future because I think that'd be a great fight. But he's picked up good wins. He beat the likes of Najib Habani. He beat the likes of Unieski Gonzalez. He beat the likes of Isaac Chilemba. Tommy Karpenzi. Not all those guys are the best names in the world, but it's a lot better than what Bivol has on his resume. So I can't really understand the hype that he gets, that Bivol gets when he doesn't have the amateur background or experience that those guys have, and when he doesn't, and when he doesn't have the pro wins that those guys have, and those guys don't even have like ridiculous resumes like that. So that's just my opinion, but I'm glad they straightened that out. Bivol, good fighter, but I'm not all the way sold on him yet. I'm really not. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Dmitry Bivol and Sullivan Barrera both confirmed that Bivol is now enrolled in VADA testing, and their March 3rd fight will go on. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And if you think like Dmitry Bivol is overrated, because it's from what I've been seeing, when people talk about the light heavyweight division, they make Dmitry Bivol out to be the second best light heavyweight behind Kovalev. That's what I've been seeing. It just seems like he's been getting talked up way too much for when he hasn't done that much in the amateurs, and he hasn't done that much in the pros, quite frankly. So that's just how I see it. You guys can let me know how you see it in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every video, man, my name is Brennan Taylor, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.